Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, and starting with the DAX here. The UK market and the AEX is pretty much the same as well. And the S&P, pretty much most global markets, we're looking for a top. We can see that the DAX here is still not really in its 61.8% retracement level here, so it can go higher. But at the same time, we need to prepare for any downside movements at this stage as well. So as we see it so far, we're looking at wave 3 here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here. This C wave here will have 5 waves in it, and let's dive in and have a look at that. Just before we do, once that's in play here, we can expect wave B, and from wave B to C here, be pretty much the same length as wave A here, but it won't be as sharp. That's all. It will be on more of an angle, so perhaps that line doesn't really represent it that well here, so it'll be like that. Normally in a correction, wave A is sharper and wave C is more lazy. So with that in mind, let's just wait for that to save and move into the 4-hour chart here. Now, it has been a bit tricky to count this here, and I don't know totally if I'm correct here with this particular count. There's the first scenario here is that wave 5 here could already be in play over here. Sorry, on this one here as a wave 4 in here, and a wave 5 sitting in here. If that's the case, then the move up through here is in 3 waves so far. So that means that if that's the case, then we won't make a new high and we'll come straight down from that point there, okay? And even if in the next session that was the case here, we don't really need to go short until we've got a retested resistance. It's retested that 500 here, and then we can bring that entry down to this point here under that one point below the low from the retest here. But otherwise, we need to look at this. If I've got this correct here, then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 4, and then we look up for wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So just going to the hourly chart here. So we can look at this as an A and a B and a C wave up here, and failing from here, down for 1, A, B, C for 2, back up here, and straight down from that point. And if that's the case, we don't want to go short unless we got this as the retested resistance this time around. And otherwise, we'll look for one more move to the upside here. How far will that push up through there? Well, the extension's in wave 3 here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So if the extension's in wave 3, then we can expect wave 1, move that, and wave 5 to be roughly the same. So we can be looking at 12,700. We know if it extends to 12.8 here, then that will definitely be the target there. But yeah, the other number in here that's really important is the 12,650. That's the halfway mark, not between 600 and 700, of course, but also 800 and 500 here. So it always plays a strong part. So expect, if it does make a new high here and moves up into here, that's okay, just hold that, but there will be a reaction from here, but eventually that will become support, and then you can move up from that point there. So we're not going to go short unless we've got 12.5 as the retested resistance, and then, yeah, I mean, even a new high above wave 3 here will take us, will confirm, a high above wave 3 here will confirm that we're heading up here higher, and we'll probably go the same distance as this one here. This is the same for the other markets as well. They don't have to do exactly the same thing. We're looking to the same pattern here. This is the same as some of the other patterns too around the world in Asia, the same as India, Japan, Australia. China's got a slightly different market, so on. So yeah, we're basically looking for 5 waves in wave C up through here, and it can go a tad higher as well, but we're not going to go short unless we've got 550 here as a retested resistance at this point. So with that in mind. I'm not sure if we've gone to the hourly or 4 hour here, but I'm thinking this is a wave 4 here, and we can move straight up from that point. But the good news is that if that's really breached from here, we can go short from here as well on this low. The question here is that, I mean, it was a little bit tricky. I mean, I put wave 4, this wasn't quite the low, it was over here, and it was possible to put wave 4 over here, but the problem with that is that we've got this move that comes down through here is in 3 waves, so it can't end on that 3 waves there. So that's what I thought. This would be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up to here, and then as a B wave, and then down for the C wave here. So I'm putting it here. So we can expect one more move to come up into the 5.8 or 5.60 sort of area through here, making new highs above here, which it has done. But I just don't think this is finished to the upside. But if it has, then normally I use number 2 to go short, because I know that we've got 50, it's just splitting hairs, 51, 52 and 53 here, and that's all of group 1. Then we've got 55 here, and then we've got 58 here. So they're the Fibonacci numbers running up the side here. So I know from experience that if the 2 becomes the resistance here, the 52, then the market will be pulled to the 50. And if it's going to get pulled to there, then we're definitely going to have overlapping wave structures, and we'll be in the downward trend from that particular point. So it's possible that the market sitting on 3 here, we see that a lot, where the market comes down, bounces off 3 and doesn't come back. So 3 is the third strongest number. We've got 1, 5, 8, and then 3. In that sort of order, I find those numbers strong. So the 2 is handy for shorting in those cases, but a little bit further to the upside. The UK market has kind of done its move now. So we were looking for this 50-60% retracement level, or the 500 here, 5 being the second strongest number. So we're definitely going to see some sort of sort of correctional pattern here, or some sort of folding back into this particular number here. So on the 4 hour chart here, we're looking at it like this in terms of 1 and 2, and then all the way up for the 3rd, the 4th wave here, and then all the way up for the 5th wave here. So on the hourly chart for this, we were sort of splitting hairs here in terms of wave 3, wave 4 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I don't know if that's wave 1 and 2 in here, and that's the 3rd wave here, or this is wave 1 and 2 here, and the 3rd wave here, and 4th and 5th, and a little bit further to the upside. But once again, the same rule applies here as well, is that we're likely to see it fold down from here very shortly, but we also want to see I mean, like, if it's going to fold down, it's going to fold down, it's going to bounce off here, then it's going to have another little bounce off here, but I'll just draw that straight through. We want that retest there, and then we'll draw our line under there, 1 point below that low there, as a trigger to short at that particular time. That will be a little bit helpful in this case. Don't forget, we're fighting the trend here, and we also need to understand that if I've made a mistake, then this is pretty much the pattern that we'll be looking for on the long side. So we're still going to get the top in play. We still need to get this here. So if we were going to go long, we would basically be looking, we want to see the high come into place. We want to see an A and a B and a C wave. We want to put the first entry here, second entry here, and normally you can get a much better entry on the 3rd one down from this particular trend here. And then that point up from that point. So if we need to go long, that's what we'll be doing if we've made a mistake, because trading is more important than analysis, and we need to be on the right side at the right time, and these patterns on levels is a really nice, safer way to move through. So we're expecting a turn, but we don't have any evidence of it whatsoever. So we need to gather that evidence. But we shouldn't expect too much of a a move in this particular market. As it draws away from the 500, there'll be a lot of strength trying to pull it back at that point. You'll see it'll be like a magnet. All right, I'll leave it at that, being pretty simple. Cheers.